I'm Rick, and I want to look at some small spear gun reels that I've recently bought. In the past few weeks, I've been working on some light spear guns. They're mainly for small to medium-sized fish, the local snapper and the European dentex. As juvenile, these fish are fast movers. They duck and weave, and you need a gun with a lot of manoeuvrability. As adults, they can grow to something more than 3 or 4 kilograms. They become quite strong and powerful fish. To take the adults, you need a spear gun that's got a bit of grunt. Tethering the spear gun to a float line would impede manoeuvrability. A float line might also frighten away timid fish. The alternative is to add a reel to the spear gun. But some reels can be bulky and they reduce manoeuvrability. I wanted a small reel. Let's step back for a second. Reels can have 2 functions. They can be used to fight a fish, or they can be used to find a fish. You use the unspooled line to find the fish that you've shot, it's rocketed it off, and then it's gone on hold up. It's using the reel to find a fish. That's what interests me. I undertook a web search, dusted off my credit card, and sent off for a couple of reels. They arrived by post in due course. The first reel was a Meandros. It's too small to have much in the way of signwriting on the side of it, but I reckon it's a Meandros fire reel, a number 1 size. I got it from the spearfishing supply shop in Australia. It took about a week for it to arrive. When I got the package, I was surprised how small and light the reel was. Attached to the gun, it's not going to make much difference to the drag or the bulk. The Meandros website says that it should hold about 30 metres of 1.1 millimetre line. The line I loaded it with was 1.5 millimetres, so the actual length's probably a bit shorter, but it should be plenty for my purposes. The line attaches to the reel through a hole in the spindle. You remove the drag cap, you poke the line through the hole and it comes out the end of the spindle. You tie a stopper knot on that, and then you put the drag cap back on. It looks strong enough and secure enough for the sort of fish I'm chasing. The Meandros reel is relatively easy to attach to the spear gun. It has a flat base with a couple of holes in it. You screw the holes, and you screw it onto the stock of the spear gun. It should be strong enough, I think. The spear gun I plan to attach it to is wood, but it's in the shape of a pipe gun. So I needed to put or insert or attach a little wooden platform so that I could actually get the reel to fit on properly. But the reel would fit quite okay on a normal conventional shape wooden spear gun. The drag's a simple nut on the end of the spindle. It's possible that the nut could unscrew and fall off and get lost. It's a feature that you need to watch. The winder handle can be collapsed in so that it's out of the way, but it can be pulled out again so it's easy to wind. The other reel I got was a Picasso micro reel. The easiest way of getting it was to get it by mail from Europe. It took a couple of weeks to arrive, and more than a couple of weeks actually. The Picasso micro reel, like the name says, is quite a small reel. It's a bit more solidly engineered than the Meandros, but the overall dimensions are pretty much the same. Once installed, it's not going to make much difference to the handling of the gun. The blurb says it'll hold 15 metres of 1 millimetre line. This is significantly less than the Meandros. 1 millimetre seems like thin line, and it is. But when you look at the reel, you see what the breaking strain is, and the breaking strain's about 100 kilograms. So it should be strong enough. It looks as though you attach the line through 2 small holes in the rim of the reel. Presumably, the line's looped through the holes, brought back, and then tied to itself. The holes are only small, and this would only be good for very thin line. But you could use thicker line if you tied it to the spindle of the reel using a clove hitch or an arbor knot. There's a sheet metal fitting welded to the bottom. Fabricating something that's going to fit this fitting was a little tricky. I tried first to do something out of wood, but it just came up so dinky I didn't really trust it. So I worked out and I got some Delrin, which is the toughest of the plastics, and I screwed the Delrin fitting underneath the stock. It was a bloody fiddly piece of work. A big doggy or a kingfish would probably destroy this fitting instantaneously, but that's not the sort of fish that I'm chasing. Like the rest of the Picasso reel, the drag is nicely engineered. It seems to function well, coming on nicely and progressively as you increase the pressure. But it's not my goal to fight a fish with this reel. I'll probably leave it loose. The handle collapses in and it's out of the way when you're stalking fish. It can be pulled out when winding in the line. I'm no engineer, but it seems to me that the Picasso reel is the best engineered of the two. If you want small, It's the smallest, but I don't like the amount of trouble you have to go through just to attach it to the gun. To my eye, the Meandros reel looks better, but it also looks a bit flimsier. The convenience of the flat base and 2 attachment screws, making it a lot easier to put it onto the stock, means that I really like the Meandros. That arrangement's the clincher for me. If I ever decide to buy another small reel, I'll probably buy a Meandros. And by the way, I've got no connection, financial or otherwise, to those reel manufacturers or any reel manufacturers.